Advaita Acharya, in his spirit of feeling the sufferings and praying for the happiness of all living beings, on the bank of the Ganges, he prayed to Krishna to descend. He read from the Gautamiya Tantra that if someone offers a flower or a leaf with some water with devotion to Krishna, then Krishna becomes subordinate to the love of that devotee. So in this spirit, Advaita Acharya on the bank of Ganga was offering tulsi leaves, tulsi manjaris, along with water from the Ganga. And with that offering, he was loudly crying out for Krishna to descend. This was his vow. This was his austerity. He was determined. My name is not really Advaita unless Krishna descends in response to my prayers. And this was his faith, that Krishna is so much obliged to a devotee who is offering a leaf, a flower, or water with devotion, that he will personally come. This is the power of bhakti. So Advaita, he spent his time in this way, and it's very interesting. It was at that time that he met with Haridas Thakur. Advaita Acharya was the leader of the Brahmin community in Shantipur. Haridas Thakur was from an untouchable background. He was considered an outcast by the orthodoxy of society. But Advaita embraced him as his closest friend and brother. He would feed him prasad with his own hands. He honored and glorified Haridas Thakur in ways that are so much a part of our life and our hearts. Haridas Thakur and him shared the same mission of compassion. Haridas was chanting 300,000 names every day to bring Krishna down to this world, and Advaita Acharya was offering his prayers and his simple worship to bring Krishna down. And in answer to their prayers, Krishna, in the mood of Sri Radha, descended to this world to give Krishna consciousness to everyone. Srila Prabhupada so much personified this spirit of Sri Advaita Acharya. In fact, in Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrita, His Holiness Satsvarup Goswami Maharaj, he writes that when Srila Prabhupada was in college, he was in a theatrical group for one drama. It was the only drama Prabhupada ever did on record. And in this drama, they were showing the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The director and producer of the drama was a very famous person. He said, here in Bengal, there are so many theaters, you can pay some rupees and see the life of Lord Chaitanya. But we have to do something different. By the sincerity and the earnestness of our will to give Lord Chaitanya's mercy to the world, we must change people's hearts. They practiced this drama for 1 year. Srila Prabhupada's role was Advaita Acharya. That's who he was. This is before he met his Guru Maharaj. He was Advaita Acharya, and he was playing this role of weeping and crying and calling out for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to come to save the suffering people of Kali Yuga. And Srila Prabhupada said, when he was performing as Advaita, he saw in the audience that all the people were crying. If we study the Jaladuta prayers, here is Srila Prabhupada on this cargo ship after 38 days at sea. He suffered heart attacks and seasickness. What is he praying for? And when we read the Jaladuta prayers, we could almost feel Srila Prabhupada from the core of his heart crying in compassion for all of us. In his prayers, he's praying to Krishna. Please, these people, they are so much covered by the modes of passion and ignorance. Prabhupada was feeling for all of us. Please speak through me. Only Krishna, if you give me the words to speak, and if you give them the ability to understand, will they be happy? And Srila Prabhupada, he emphasized in his prayer, by your mercy, Krishna, if you manifest through me, you can make these people happy. That is identical to the mood and the prayers of Sri Advaita Acharya, praying to Krishna to deliver pure devotional service to all of us. But Srila Prabhupada taught us in giving we receive. When Srila Prabhupada was once asked, how can we best please you? He said, receive what I've given you and share it with each other and share it with the world. This is the path of bhakti. The more we can access Krishna, the more we could be instruments to give Krishna. And this is so much what Advaita Acharya represented. He spent years doing his sadhana crying for Krishna. Haridas Thakur spent years chanting Krishna's holy names, the Maha Mantra, crying for Krishna to help us. So when we understand what pleases Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas, we know that we need to really deeply go into our sadhana so that we can assist them to give Krishna to others. It is inseparable. Haridas was chanting. Certainly, he was feeling the ecstasy of love of Krishna while he was chanting, but at the same time, he was chanting so that he could best be an instrument of Krishna's compassion to deliver suffering souls. Advaita Acharya was crying tears, calling out Krishna's names to help us. Srila Prabhupada, he left Vrindavan. He sailed on the Jaladuta. He entered into Butler, Pennsylvania, New York City with the prayer to be an instrument of the love of his Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to give Lord Chaitanya's message to the world. In fact, on the Jaladuta diary, Srila Prabhupada writes in one place that he was feeling so much separation from his home in Vrindavan. He was missing Radha Damodar and Radha Madan Mohan and Radha Govinda and Radha Raman and Radha Gopinath. He said, but so far from Vrindavan, I am happy because I am doing the will of my Guru Maharaj, which is to serve Lord Chaitanya's message to take the holy names to every town and village within this world. So our sadhana should very much be inseparable from empowering and preparing us in such a way that we could really be instruments to help others be Krishna conscious. And at the same time, in helping others to become Krishna conscious, Krishna's pleased. Yasya, prasādād, bhagavat-prasādo. Prabhupada is pleased. And then what? then our sadhana actually becomes substantial. When we're pleasing the Lord through our outreach, then when we sit down to do our sadhana, Krishna's pleased with our efforts. So spreading Krishna consciousness and awakening Krishna consciousness are inseparable parts of our life.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on devotionalnectar.com.